this is Val here with another Epic 7 video. And this is round 2 with Luluca. She actually just got buffed, so I re-geared her. And let's give her another shot. You know how I do in these reviews. We're going to go ahead and start off by taking a look at her skills. So skill 1, which actually is her bread and butter in Wyvern 11, as you saw from my intro video, is Wild Wave. You acquire 1 soul and also now armor breaks. Attacks with intense elemental force with a 50% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases proportional to the amount of the enemy's lost health. You can see here we can skill a hands hit 5 times for a total of 30% bonus damage. Skill 2, Rekos Blessing. It is on a 4-turn by default cooldown. You acquire 2 souls when using it. With the Blessing of the Stars, grants decreased defense and barrier to all allies for 2 turns. Barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's attack. The soul burn effect for 20 souls lowers the skill cooldown by 2 turns. You can see here you can enhance it 5 times, picking up a 1-turn cooldown, lowering the cooldown to 3 turns. And you can pick up additional barrier strength to the tune of an additional 25%. Next, we have skill 3, Wave of Vengeance, which had its armor break chance increased. Attacks all enemies with the power of Ruin with a 60% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns. Before increasing the caster's attack, this effect can stack up to 3 times. You can see here it can be enhanced 5 times for picking up a 1-turn cooldown, lowering it down to 4 turns, and you can pick up additional damage to the tune of 25% and an additional effect chance to the tune of an additional 25%, making it an 85% chance to armor break. Now, let's talk about these skills because this is what has changed. So skill 1 picked up armor break, skill 2 picked up increased attack instead of increased damage of just a skill, and it also got a decreased defense chance buff as well. So how does she work now, and why did I go back and redo the review? Well, 1, it wasn't in this format, so I really want to redo the review since she got buffed in the proper format. 2, I really liked her. For anyone who's seen my summon videos, I did go all in for her to SSS as well as her artifact. So I wanted to give her another shot. I liked her before, I love her now. So really this buff here is huge. Not necessarily the armor break, which is nice to have it, but what's huge is she increases attack instead of this damage. She scales off attack for everything. Her shield scales off of attack, her S1 scales off of attack, her S3 scales off of attack. So the fact now that instead of just buffing this, she buffs attack is a big deal. As you saw from my intro video, she hits for 23k to this before the Wyvern gets to half health. After half health, she hits from 27k. Now look at this. The key to that is that she doesn't even have skill ups. There's no skill ups in this, and she's hitting for 27k at half health. 27k. You slap another 30% on that for skill 1, and you're well over 30k for 1 single hit that also can armor break. I really like her. She is an excellent unit for Wyvern 11, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we go over where to use her. Now let's take a look at her stats. She is rocking 4.3k attack, 163 speed, 100% crit chance, and 186% crit damage. Her effectiveness is 34%. Now, these are really the attack stats you want to focus on. Ideally, you do want at least 200, maybe 250 crit damage here, but I couldn't get it with the gear I had. However, it is free gear removal, so I might play with this a little and see what I can get. It doesn't hurt anything. Now, effectiveness, I do not bank on in W11, and that's because I bring Tornar Guard, and he's got my back as far as armor breaks go. Now, attack is absolutely fine. You could actually sacrifice... I'd say don't go below 3.8, 3.9k if that's what you have to do to pick up more crit damage, because crit damage is just a big deal and you'd want to go that way. That's just how I would build it. So ideal stats to me, let's just say perfectly tuned, would be 4k attack, 175 speed, 100% crit chance, and about 250 crit damage. I wouldn't worry about effectiveness at all if you don't need to, because Tornar Guard is a champ. He is a bro's bro. Now, with stats aside, let's take a look at the gear. If I'm going too fast, go ahead and feel free to pause the video. Okay, so let's talk about sets and gear. Now, I've made a huge switch over. I do want to move all of my DPS units to Destruction. Destruction Farming isn't going the best at the moment. This run is fine, it's just I'm not getting the drops I want. Ideally, I would love to see her on Destruction set. I would love to pick up all my speed and substats. So she has a base of 103 speed, meaning to get to my 175, I need about 10 to 12 speed on each and every single piece, which I know is a monumental ask. But, I mean, some pieces I have that and some I don't. But, I mean, as long as you get to at least 160, 165, I think she'll be okay. You can see I'm at 163, and looking at the intro video, the demo for her, she does quite well. There's no issues there in Wyvern 11. So if I fall short from that, that's fine. Ideally, I'd want to go crit damage, attack, attack here. Crit damage plus, you know, you think about it, crit damage plus a crit necklace, that's 105% crit damage. That's assuming you don't get crit damage on any other piece in the set. You're automatically going to have 255% crit damage right there, right off the bat. The key to making builds like that work, as I've said in many videos, is getting all your speed and your crit chance in substats. Tall order, yes, I know, but it is worth doing. Now, that being said, the ideal substats you're looking for is crit chance, crit damage, speed, attack. Now, obviously, you can't get attack on the chest piece, so you would be looking for crit damage, crit chance, speed, and maybe you can go effectiveness, you can go health, you can go defense. Really doesn't matter on that fourth one from those, as long as you have the other three. Even a flat stat would be fine, but ideally you would want a percentile. Now, moving away from gear and going to artifact, if you are going to be running her in Wyvern 11, like you saw in my demo video, really, it's Daydream Joker. I mean, for hunts, there really is not a better artifact. Maybe kind of like Tonfa got Portrait at some point in the future, we'll get a Daydream Joker replacement, a limited artifact. But for now, when it comes to DPS, as far as I'm concerned, you just cannot beat Daydream Joker in hunts. It's the only option, really. Outside of hunts, you can use her artifact. You can use Book, maybe, if you need it, because you want to run her in Arena, which I don't recommend. She's not really, in my mind, an Arena character. I didn't do a lot of testing. She did okay, but with these stats, she's really not going to cut it. If you're going to use her like as your AoE armor breaker in Arena, obviously you're going to need to focus more on effectiveness, and you're going to need to max skill 3 right off the bat. That way she can provide your armor break for you. Now, where to use her? Wyvern 11, hands down, she is just amazing. Raid, really good. Again, you would go with Daydream Joker in Raid. Now, if you look at this, you're like, but Val, you need armor break, right? You do, and honestly, Tarnor Guard is still MVP, in my opinion, for armor breaks in Wyvern 11. The brother is reliable. He gets the job done. I mean, it's just, he's just amazing. I will likely at some point 6-star mine, just because I have mad respect for him, and because one day I hope he does get an SC. But that is why I really didn't focus on effectiveness. As I've always said, keep in mind when you're building a unit, the team you're going to be using it in. So I already knew that I was going to be using Tornar Guard, which I knew I would not have to focus on effectiveness, because she would fit right in there with no problems, and she does. She's just really good. I do like the buffs. They are extremely strong. She is amazing in Raid. She is amazing in Wyvern. She can be used in Arena if you need an AoE armor breaker. Say you lack Seaside Bologna, or you lack a regular Bologna, or you lack Tenebria for the AoE armor break. She will work, but then keep in mind you do need to invest heavily in S3 to pick up the cooldown reduction, as well as the increased effect chance. Alright, that's going to do it for this review. If you found it helpful, please feel free to leave it down in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and all you do's and dudettes out there, stay frosty.